Hello and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy episode 422 for the week of October 8th, 2019. My name is Ryan Higgins. The power's still on for now.
That's a good thing.
We'll see. Who's here with me this week?
Brock Sager.
Jim Jokisch.
Kevin.
And Charlie.
And Toby should be on his way. I'm sure he'll wander in here. Walk around.
Maybe Scott will show up at like 8:30.
Yeah,
Fall asleep in an aisle somewhere.
Yeah, Scott will show up in an hour.
Destroy Ryan's wall in the back.
So we are going to be talking about Joker. And if Toby's here and we have time, we may do some New York Comic Con impressions because Toby was out at New York Comic Con. Not sure. We've had some shorter movie episodes, and then we have Endgame, which was like 4 hours. We'll see where this one goes, but we're gonna talk Joker. This is going to be full spoilers, so if you do not want to be spoiled about the Joker movie that came out this last week, you should stop listening to this podcast right now, because we're going to go pretty much directly into it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, Charlie, random number generator pulls up. Charlie gets to start us off.
What? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, random number.
What?
Brock, that part of the podcast where we discuss things, that's happening right now.
Oh, holy shit, we're going right into it.
We are going right into it.
We haven't even done the Patreon
Look,
people yet.
I am so tired. I didn't do Geekbox last night. Apparently Ryan didn't either. I was so sick. I'm better today a little bit, but not great.
And
it was
then
a monster week.
And then you get a monster week of comic books to put on
now
the shelf.
PG&E's going to shut off the power of the Bay Area for the next 7 days. So who knows? It's going to be fucking wild. It's going to be fucking Wild West.
It's not guaranteed 7 days. It's potentially 7 days, and it potentially should be shut off at midnight.
Next week, who even knows if there's going to be a Bay Area? We could have all bombed ourselves into oblivion. It's going to be riots in the streets. I have no idea what's going on. We'll find out. We'll find out tomorrow, I guess. I'm glad
I like how after seeing Joker, Ryan's just gone completely dark, and he's like, "There's going to be riots in the street, and we're going to bomb ourselves to Kingdom Come."
I'm ready. I'm ready for
Charlie,
it.
let me tell you.
I'm very ready for it.
What was it, Saturday? Saturday I came by, right?
Yes, you posted a selfie with him saying, "Look, I'm
Saturday I
shopping
came
at the
by,
store."
talked to Ryan. I was like, I want to go see Joker. And Ryan told me that he didn't think I was going to like Joker, that Joker wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah.
I like Joker.
Well, you got 3 people. You got
good.
Give it a few minutes. We'll get to you. Settle down. So we're going to go in order. We're going to go around the table. Start with Charlie here. Random number generator chose Charlie. So we're going to go around the table. Quick hits. What you thought. Brief thoughts. And we don't need to go like full ranking or anything like that unless you really want to. But kind of overall likes, dislikes, and then we'll do our full kind of talk about the movie and really get into the nitty gritty. It's Charlie.
So, since you said likes and dislikes, I'm going to just start out by saying I liked a very small percentage of this movie and disliked a large percentage of this movie.
Okay.
What world are we living in?
Why?
What the fuck?
So, here's the thing. I have now watched a lot of stories with a sort of main protagonist with mental issues and that kind of stuff who rages against the system, and for the most part, I can empathize and kind of get behind that person. Even, we talked about this with like Breaking Bad. With Breaking Bad, I can kind of empathize, and like a part of you wants Walter White to win, even though he becomes a fucking monster.
At least in the first 2 seasons or so.
Even by the end, there's always a part of me that respects Walter White, and sort of at the very, very end, I love the end of Breaking Bad. I love the fact that he gets his big...
Don't spoil it.
Who respects Walter White after the first episode?
Nobody.
Well, I do. So there. But a better comparison to Joker for me is Mr. Robot. Mr. Robot is amazing. Mr. Robot is fantastic. And I would watch the pilot of Mr. Robot way before I would ever rewatch the Joker movie.
Okay. All right.
Okay. I'm not sure I understand, but we'll hash this out
You
more.
ever watched Mr. Robot?
No, I haven't.
It's
But what does it have to do with the Joker?
I can... You really want me to... Okay.
Not yet.
I'm going to just take over the podcast now. It's going to be fun.
Wait, are we...
So...
I mean, I know the broad generalization.
Okay,
wait,
but
I've seen Mr. Robot. Have you?
No.
Have you?
I'm not current, but I've seen.
Okay.
probably half.
Have you seen at least through the first season?
Yeah.
Okay. So the very first season of Mr. Robot, you get introduced to Elliot, and he is incredibly smart. He's socially awkward. He has a very small group of people who would call friends, and he gets approached by this person named Mr. Robot to basically join his hacktivist group and
Right.
take down the rich and all that.
Sure.
As the show goes on, you realize Elliot is insane. And by the end of the first season, you find out there really was no Mr. Robot that approached him. He was behind the whole thing the entire time. And the Mr. Robot he's been seeing is his dead father, who he doesn't recognize.
Okay.
You better put a spoiler tag on this for Mr. Robot as well.
The way they present that, the way they present sort of the realizations around his mental issues, you don't necessarily question what's real and what's not. Most of the stuff in the Joker movie, there's all the stuff that's not real is not real because it feels like it doesn't add up within the situation of the movie.
Right.
There are parts of it that you can discuss whether or not were real or what not,
Sure.
but most of it is pretty clear when he's being delusional. So the
Right.
realizations that he's being delusional don't really have any impact. There wasn't really necessarily a scene where I empathized with Joaquin Phoenix. There were a lot of scenes where I cringed at the state of Gotham and the world, but
Which
I
are
didn't
very
get
separate right
any
now.
enjoyment out of sort of the Joaquin Phoenix character, who I don't think came across intelligent enough. It just was not for me. And that's why, as I said, with Mr. Robot, I like how intelligent the main character is. I like the fact that he's insane. I like the fact you can empathize with him. I like the fact that it can catch you off guard. And it's continued to catch you off guard and bring on that story going into its final season this year.
Okay. Well, we'll head in a slightly different direction now because, I mean, I don't even think there's a question. The Joker is the best comic book movie by a country mile. It makes everything else look silly in comparison.
We needed video of Kevin's face. We so needed video of that.
Look, I love me some Avengers and everything else. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Dark Knight is as close as we're going to get, but that's still...
Charlie called this.
I mean,
when we were debriefing this movie a couple days ago, he goes, can't wait for the podcast when Ryan goes all in on a DC movie.
Oh, did you not see my tweet when I walked out of the theater? Like this isn't even a question. This is an A+. This is the Oscar and then some. This is now the standard for everything going forward for a comic book movie. We
need video of your face.
And I just said to Brock, I really would love to meet somebody who loved the Joker.
Well,
I didn't even know. It's like
sitting
Clue.
right here. Sitting right
Colonel
here.
Mustard was right here the whole time.
Yeah, this is going to be a wild podcast, apparently, because I am beyond baffled how anyone can have I mean, I understand if you're like, look, I'm just not into super dark stuff. Totally get it. This is not the movie for you. If you're like, all I want to do is see Captain America be super positive and happy forever. Look, I love those movies too, right? But this is beyond all those other movies. To a degree, I can't even say this. Just by far the best comic book movie. It's not even a comic book movie, right? I mean, just movie of the year, hands down. No, nothing else will come close. Period. It also happens to be a comic book movie. I mean, we'll get into the details later, but Brock, go ahead.
So I really enjoyed the Joker. I thought it was very well done. It captured the essence of who the Joker was. It's hard to encapsulate everything that Joker is because the Joker's character has been on such a wide spectrum from, this giddy, just bad jokes, kind of death traps to kill Batman, to very kind of what we get now, which is a very dark Heath Ledger, just this killing machine. So the movie, I think, does a really good job with, and I, like you did after the movie, I tweeted as well. And for me, it was, if you're expecting like a superhero, supervillain movie, you're going to be confused. If you're expecting a Joker origin, you're going to get something. But overall, I enjoyed it for what it was, and it's really just the really well done. What's the word I'm looking for? Unreliable narrator. Mm-hmm. Like it's Joker to a T. I mean, the amount of times we've seen a Joker origin in comic book stories, and it's not real.
Yeah,
like that's what it encompassed.
It's been a couple of them.
And the thing is to me, that's what really stood out in this film is just how this is just this is another Joker origin. This is the DC movieverse 70s Joker origin. And I thought it was really, really well done. So
I have some comments, but I don't want to. We'll get to that. Yeah.
The only way I enjoy this movie is that I think of this movie as entirely in Joker's brain as he's in Arkham. He's playing this in his head. This is what he is his interpretation of the facts and what's going on, and while he's also partially insane at the time, but this is Elseworlds. That's all there is to it. There's nothing. There's no. I don't.
Okay, let me jump. I will jump in here because that answers that sort of touches on the question I was going to say. Well, one, they're all Elseworlds. None of them count. But also, right, this is not the Joker that fights Batman and the Justice League and has some laughing fish, right?
No.
I mean, this is not. This is a completely different thing.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying that this is my definitive DC Universe Joker live action movie.
This is one of those. This is one of those like just like one of the random fire. Just like Heath Ledger gave us a couple of Joker origin stories. Like, oh, my dad did this. Mm-hmm. And like we got him just telling us this. This is us actually seeing one come to fruition. Like an entire
yeah.
Sort of just Joker origin from his own words.
Alex Ross once wrote, I believe it was in Kingdom Come, that Joker's greatest joke on everybody was making everybody think that he was insane, that he was a calculating genius, and that his greatest joke was making everybody think he's insane. In this iteration of him, he is insane. He is partially insane, right? So I can appreciate this version of Joker and the work that they put into this one, it'll never be my favorite. And the age difference between Joaquin and Bruce.
For sure.
That threw it off.
Joker would be like 65 when.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
70 when
Why'd
Batman.
You beat up that old man?
You'd never hit an old man with glasses, would you?
Exactly. So. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate the movie. I do. It was a good movie, but it's
maybe by then he'll just paint.
It's an Elseworld.
Have a mustache with paint over it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Kevin,
man, I didn't think I was going to disagree with anyone more than Charlie, and Kevin steps up to the plate.
Well, Charlie is a noted firebrand, bringing the critical take on something. So, I think on multiple episodes of this show over the past months, I have said, and you've agreed, or you've said and I've agreed, how much we were looking forward to the Joker.
Yeah.
Just because it was such an X factor, like an unknown.
Yep.
You had no idea what it was going to be walking in. I have seen 0 trailers, I believe, for this.
Wow. And
only the promotional images and the poster. So I walked in, not completely cold, but very close to it, as much as you can be in this time. So Joaquin Phoenix is brilliant, as always. He always swings for the fences. I like some performances better than others, but he's always compelling to watch in everything. The production design was really good in this movie. It's a Gotham we've never seen before. It's kind of early 80s New York City / the Bronx / Brooklyn, and it's kind of not that. It's an interesting melding of these worlds, and I think it really holds together.
Well, the trash, the trash strike reminds me of you see all the pictures of England in the late 70s when they're having the dump.
I know that,
and there was a real trash strike. So when I heard that on the news, I thought, oh, it's set in New York. Yeah, that's interesting.
Well, the funny thing I found was you were talking about the how it was just the production looked really well done. They actually shot. I remember scenes from Nolan's Batman, certain locations. They reused some of those locations in this.
I'm sure.
And so it felt like there was some connection to a Gotham they've established before. Not like this is part of Nolan's world, but it was kind of like it made the setting more familiar because they shot in the tunnel, right, where they've had a chase. They shot underneath the train tracks or the bridges.
Oh, in the shallows.
Yeah. So it's like they've taken some of the history that is in cinema with Batman and stuff like that in Gotham and incorporated it into the setting. But keep going. Sorry.
Here comes that butt.
Drag it out.
Like a comic series, and I'm not even calling on a specific one right now, with beautiful, like, art gallery quality work on every page, there's just nothing there beyond the aesthetics and the performance. It's just, I watched it, I just went, it's the most obvious, ham-handed, hit you over the face, like with a rubber clown mallet message, where he's a sad clown, get it? And the world is tough, ... And then he's the Joker. Well, that ... is the entire world is right there, and they just hand wave it. It's just so obvious at every turn, just so blatant. It's like as subtle as a squirting flower on somebody's lapel, as a horn being honked in your face, or a red rubber nose. And I didn't hate it, but I was just sitting there at the end just going, that was it? That's what I was so excited about. I thought it was going to be dangerous and dark, and the comeback's going to be, it is dark. What do you mean? It's not. I understand, but I mean, it's dark in a safe way is my ultimate problem. I just kind of, at the end, I had the reaction I really didn't expect I would have to this, which was shrugging my shoulders. I thought it was fine. I'd never in a million years watch it again, but I'm not sorry that I saw it.
I'll buy the Blu-ray because it's got to be on my shelf, but I don't know if I'll watch it again.
I've gotten better about not doing that.
These are all opinions, I guess.
I tried to be better about it, but
Yeah.
You know, I am fascinated because obviously there was so many endless fucking news articles about how the
some
Joker
guys were smoking
movie
in a parking lot and they were getting rowdy.
the Joker movie was going to cause just like chaos in the streets, right? And I did see a few reviews that said something similar to what you said, Kevin, about being not as risky as maybe it. But so what? Like, I don't get that as a negative. I mean, I guess
I'm not saying I wanted riots and people being shot.
No, but I
That's
don't
not
know
my-
what you wanted the movie to say. I mean, it is still a Joker movie at the end of the day. I think it did some pretty.
See, to me, that statement is like, I've been sitting here listening to got the Joker. I don't even feel like they got the Joker right. Like, I didn't mind certain quirks and stuff, but so much of the Joker is being able to be a challenge for Batman, for having the intelligence to even do short-term plans and stuff that...
Here is something I think people missed, okay? We don't see the real, whether it's Joker, Arthur Fleck, whatever you want to say, right? Because, I mean, again, his name is made up, he's adopted,
Right.
blah, 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 blah. And we could get into the Thomas Wayne stuff in a bit here. But
we are going to. I promise you.
you guys did catch that the medicine was making him that way, right?
Yeah.
When he's off the medicine, he is sharp, smart. The very end, like the last couple of scenes when he is on the talk show, that is Joker.
I agree,
to that
is
point.
much closer to Joker. But that being said,
But see, that's the thing is it harkens back to, you take it back to Sean Murphy, who Jack Napier is drugged up,
Right.
which is suppressing
But
that.
both personas there are hyper intelligent.
But the thing is that's the thing. There's no one solidified Joker. When Joker was doing his death traps and stuff, he wasn't this super intelligent guy. It was just this guy trying to build
He
stuff.
absolutely was super intelligent. The thing about the Joker that always gets me, and
Like modern take on the Joker, like classic Joker. He was never seen as like this, like smarter than Batman. He was just.
I'm not saying he was seen smarter than Batman, but I don't feel like Joker's ever been presented as somebody who wasn't X amount of steps ahead of everybody other than Batman. Like, there's the reason why Batman always had to sort of step in.
But you're looking at Joker in relation to having Batman and to having his opposite. This is a Joker without a Batman.
Yeah,
and that's the thing is he doesn't have that. He doesn't have that immovable
antithesis.
He doesn't have that immovable. That wall that he's going to go up against. And that's the thing is going, well, I need a smart Joker. That's cutting the movie down because it's not a Joker that you want in relation to a Batman that you've seen a Joker with.
But it's not a Joker we want. I don't want it. I don't want this Joker.
It's not that
I never wanted this. I never wanted a Joker origin story.
But it's not it's a Joker origin story, not the Joker origin story.
Yeah. So the one thing that I did kind of appreciate that I saw today is Todd Phillips. That's his name?
Yeah.
Said he's not even saying that the Joaquin Phoenix character was the Joker. He may just have inspired the Joker. Like, he's not even willing to...
That's some Gotham shit right there.
Yeah, that's some Jerome and...
Yeah,
that's some Jerome Gotham
I don't need
stuff.
that.
Look, but what they did with... Even the Gotham Joker, the way they played that out was amazing.
Yes.
I
have seen so many good takes on potential Joker origins, different versions of the Joker. And I agree with Jim. This was not a version of the Joker that I respond to at all and even want.
But I don't need a sequel to this. I mean, I don't need Ben Affleck to show up in the next movie. No. I don't need this. I need this character to show up in the Robert Pattinson Batman movie. I don't need them to ever go back to this world. But I'm sorry that I saw a completely different movie than you guys. It's like to a crazy degree. Again, if you're not into the darker stuff, I get it. It's a violent movie. There was like a 10-year-old kid sitting next to us who like freaked out when he stabbed the guy in the neck with the scissors.
Okay, I don't know about any.
I don't care about the violence. I'm looking forward to the violence.
I don't know about any, but a slide lock on a door now, I just can't look at the same.
I mean.
Well, it's in the movie itself.
None of my criticism is about the comic book Joker that's not being accurate to the comic book Joker. I have zero problem with that. Ezra Miller is no version of Barry Allen that's ever been imagined or dreamed of in the history of comics. And I just treat these all as the multiverse.
Sure.
Grant Gustin is a Flash. Ezra Miller's a Flash. Joaquin Phoenix is a Joker. Heath Ledger, Jared Leto, Cesar Romero, etc.
That's right.
None of my criticism about that.
Don't forget Jack Nicholson, man.
This Joker would be about as much threat to Batman as Krusty the Clown would be. Okay?
Oh. Hey,
my problem is the world's a dark and shitty place. Bad things happen, and the rich are part of the problem. Aren't we profound? Aren't you glad you sat through 2 hours to get that? Like, push it more. Go deeper than that. Say something different. But it's just... You see this sad sack, possibly mentally ill. We can't even tell exactly what's real and what's not real.
Right.
We know he's on prescription medication, and we know he sees a social worker. We just see this sad sack beaten down, until, guess what? He snaps and starts killing people. And then there are riots. The end. And that's my point. The lights come up, and I just went, well, that was it. That was it. Question mark. Okay. I'll walk out.
Again, I don't know what movie you watched.
Well, did anything I just described not happen in the one you watched?
No, it did happen, and lots of other stuff happened too. Like I don't know.
Okay, all right.
I really don't know.
So I was starting to talk to Kevin about this before we started recording. You've heard everybody knows about the fanfic about Alfred Pennyworth. About being the villain in the DC universe, right? The first villain.
It's the stupidest shit. I have no idea.
Okay, but how far off is it from this movie? Instead of Martha straying, it's Thomas straying, and Joker is potentially Bruce's half-brother.
So they do a double back on that that is ambiguous enough for me to be confident that he's not. they do.
Well, then we saw a different movie.
Well, so there's the picture at the end, right?
Yeah.
When he's full Joker.
Yeah.
And he's become a Joker, and he sees the picture, and he flips it over, and it says, I like your smile. I think it says something like that. TW, right? So at this point, he's not. We know he's not Bruce Wayne's. We know he's not Thomas Wayne's kid, right? And then now you're given that that.
Huh?
Oh well, maybe. Comic book reader Ryan Higgins is like, nope, and I don't need that, and now we're done. I don't need Batman. I don't need the Joker to kill the Waynes, but that doesn't stop me from liking the 89 Batman movie, right?
Right.
I can sort of look at that piece and go, well, it's ambiguous enough that I'm not being told that he is or isn't, so I can. It doesn't.
In my mind,
it doesn't bother me.
Okay, all right,
right? Because you were not given an answer either way.
Yeah.
And so much of this movie you're not, but I mean, it is clear that
Well, for me,
the relationship with the girlfriend
and I think
and all that's
this goes to what people see in the movie, from what Kevin saw to Charlie to Jim to you to me. What all the movie we saw that was different. Like, I see it as, and after seeing the whole movie, Joker just knows who Bruce Wayne is. He knows who Batman is, and then he just incorporated this into this story.
Wouldn't it be amazing if we all actually did see a different movie? Like that there's just
five theaters,
like a Fight Club style.
Yeah.
Oh,
five theaters, and just like Clue, 5 different endings, 5 different.
Well,
movies.
did any of you see it in 35 millimeter?
No,
because they were showing it in.
So I did watch.
Film.
I did on Friday. I watched King of Comedy, which is Martin Scorsese. Very heavily. This movie was heavily influenced by, and watching it, yes, it was very heavily influenced by this movie. Fantastic movie too. If you haven't seen it, woof.
My favorite Scorsese, as I
Really?
said a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah, very very good. I mean.
But that's
the
about
same-
that's about the nature of celebrity in our culture. That's saying something. You see what somebody not to spoil the King of Comedy, you see what a desperate sad sack will do to be famous. This is the world sucks and rich people don't care about you.
I'd say it's as deep. It's the same level to me. I mean, I don't want to say like they just ripped off King of Comedy. Clearly, it is highly influenced, including some scenes that are directly taken from it. But it's looking at, I think, a similar problem with the same depth. It comes at it obviously clearly from a different direction. But
maybe I'm just more interested in that other problem because it's something that I haven't seen in movies and TV shows ad nauseum.
And I don't want to diminish what a quote-unquote superhero movie can be, but here is the problem. You have, if it's a superhero movie, it has to be light and colorful, and it has to be a Marvel movie, and it has to be super super happy. And I'm not saying you.
I don't think that's true.
I'm not saying you. I'm just saying this is how society has now takes superhero movies. If you try to be different, if you try to do something that's darker and more serious, or less light as the Marvel movies, why are you doing this? As a superhero movie, it should be light and blah blah blah. But then no one takes that stuff seriously. To me, this is that perfect place where it is a superhero movie. Barely, it's influenced by a comic book, clearly, but it is way more serious and way more mature and way more adult in tone and theme, and it works. Whereas, although I liked Watchmen well enough, it really didn't do enough. It took the overall like elements of the comic book, but it didn't have the depth of the series. It had the plot, but it didn't have the.
This one barely made a superhero movie. If they would have changed the title to Clown, it wouldn't have.
Right?
And
do you even consider
they wouldn't
this a
even needed
superhero movie, quote unquote?
Right.
So to me, this is taking.
This has nothing to do with a superhero. Has nothing to do. Not much to do with the supervillain.
So a lot of the negative reviews that I saw.
Let's just say comic book movie. rather than superhero movie.
I'll go with that.
But
I'll go with that.
but this isn't Road to Perdition. This isn't Ghost
Oh
World.
my God, he's
right?
reading my mind. Get out of my head. I was just thinking about that same book.
Yeah. So yes, it is based on a comic book, but I mean this is the Joker, which makes it a superhero movie, right?
Supervillain.
I think if you the negative
Not my
reviews
Joker.
I saw, and man, I read one on Hollywood Reporter today that like, holy shit, this person did not watch the movie. It was.
Is that the one?
It was.
Is that the one I retweeted saying this review is a joke?
Why? Please elaborate now, because I didn't read this. I haven't found this.
I got like 4 paragraphs in, and I'm like, well, this person didn't even watch the movie. Like, they're insane.
That or there are multiple cuts of the movies out.
Maybe there is. Maybe there is.
Joaquin Phoenix is there sitting there writing his own review.
Yeah, I just think you make it serious, and people are like, "Oh, this is a dark, try-hard, serious movie. This needs to be light and funny," and you make it, and that's always the complaint people are going to have.
So this is the thing: is before this movie even came out, we had people freaking out about gun violence in the movie theaters.
It was only like the last week or two prior to the movie,
and that's
which
the thing
is the crazy part.
And you have this. We're going to have violence, or we're talking about mental health, or we're dealing with all of these random issues that are just kind of, why are we? It's like the movie doesn't talk about the movie. Basically, doesn't sit there and slap gun control in your face. Right? A gun is introduced in the movie. It's used, right, and that's it.
Well, it's fairly apolitical because even though the rich people are the bad guys, quote unquote, I mean, no, the Joker's the bad guy. You feel bad for everyone in this movie. You shouldn't really feel bad for Arthur Fleck as it goes on, as it becomes clear that this is a bad person, right? Whether it's the I suffer from a form of anxiety and panic attacks. I am very aware of mental disorder and problem. My mom's a psychiatrist. I'm not oblivious to this stuff, right?
I've dealt with depression in my life. I was hospitalized for a while. So I know in essence how drugs can affect you and change your mentality.
Yeah. To me, this was not saying, look at this mentally disturbed person. He's a bad guy. It's saying, look at how society's treating this person. It really is. But that to me is the flip. That when he stops, when he gets better, he is a worse person, right?
Yes.
So he does not have these problems because he has a mental disability or whatever the case is. He is an actual bad person that clearly has these. He's being held on by fucking strings, right?
He's a sociopath who was held back by the medication.
Yeah, he was
and then
hospitalized.
the medication was cut off.
Right, he was hospitalized at some point, right?
That's the thing is society. The thing is what it's saying in this movie. This is what I mean. You were touching on, Kevin, that you didn't really like too well. Society was holding him and keeping him in check. And they were beating him down at the same time. They were holding him down and keeping him in check. And then they were like, yeah, we're just not going to give a shit about you or your medication anymore. We don't care. And so what happens? He's no longer taking the medication. That thing that was suppressed is now...
Yeah, I'm not aiming this at Kevin. I'm aiming this at
No, I know.
random reviews.
And everything you're describing, I would love to watch Joaquin Phoenix in that movie. Unfortunately, this, in going big, where it went... I guess we're in full spoilers, but where it ultimately went left me... Charlie compared Mr. Robot. I'll call out Fight Club as an example.
Yeah.
I didn't find that movie completely successful, but they went for it. Holy shit, they went for it. And there were things in that movie where I went, I have never seen that. I have never seen that taken from that angle before. I don't mean camera angle. I mean storytelling angle.
No, Fight Club, when it came out, really just kind of...
It felt...
It shook
edgy
what you think.
And felt risky and dangerous. Mm-hmm. And this felt entirely safe, except, asterisk, that performance felt risky and dangerous, and I wish it had a better movie to support it.
But again, we're also talking about a Warner Brothers movie, and they're statistically scared of releasing anything that...
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like if you want to take it that route.
So Jim,
Yes.
not a fan of Thomas Wayne in this movie, huh?
I'm not saying I'm not a fan. I'm saying that when that element came about, I was a lot less of a fan. I didn't like that take of Thomas Wayne.
Yeah.
Well, I think currently we have the idealistic Thomas Wayne, and then they've always kind of like meddled with it a little bit. Like the current Flashpoint Thomas is a fucking d-bag.
Yeah.
And so it's like, but do you like that version?
No, I like the Thomas Wayne from Batman Begins.
Yeah, the caring,
But
yeah.
there, I can very easily see. I can very easily in my mind go from this Thomas Wayne and Joker to this is the point. This is the point that led up to their death. I can put this movie ahead of Batman Begins. Ahead of that origin right there, and it sort of fits because it says that the Wayne's death is kind of what spawned everybody from in Gotham, the rich to actually caring and doing something about the poverty and about all the problems and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But this can very easily fit before Batman Begins. Before all that happens. But I don't like that interpretation. That interpretation of Wayne also falls in the same interpretation of what they did with Martha in the Alfred Pennyworth fanfic. So I don't like those two versions. I liked it better as them being random kills, not calculated.
Oh, me too. Me too. Well, this is okay because Joker doesn't kill him.
Yes,
it is random.
This one is random.
Kind of okay.
I'm more okay with this than.
I'm
like
going to
how
say
we're
this.
talking about it's kind of okay that two people are murdered in front of a kid.
But wait a minute.
It is okay the fact that they got killed from a sort of domino effect from the events in this movie. I'm not okay with the idea of let's go to the movie when riots seem to be breaking out.
Yeah.
Like this mayoral candidate seemed to go to a very bad part of town.
I didn't like that part
to
either.
go see a movie.
Well, I think they're all bad parts of town.
I didn't like that either. He was never, and as far as I remember in all the readings I've done, Thomas Wayne was always, he was a CEO and stuff like that. But he was never. They took a liberty and made him a mayoral candidate, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But it's something else. I mean,
So
when you bring in the politicians, it's never good. It's just never good at that point.
Playing him as a mayoral candidate didn't bother me so much, other than I agree with you in terms of the Batman Begins. I agree with you in terms of a lot of the views we've seen of Thomas Wayne and Martha and trying to bring the city up because it was hurting. Like they were trying to use their wealth to better things. And trying to go into politics and that kind of stuff sort of fits with that. The way he was kind of going about the politics, I didn't really appreciate.
Yeah. As far as I know, Thomas Wayne's never been portrayed as a dick. This guy was kind of a dick.
There's when you get into like the 80s, 90s, there were random stories that kind of had, maybe there was something bad going on with the Waynes. Maybe they weren't these nice people. They've touched on this occasionally. Again, I like my Kent's alive and my Waynes pure. Okay, like this is my.
That's how I take all my Waynes.
But that's the comic book, right?
Yeah.
Whatever they do in the movie, as long as it's a good story, I'm totally fine.
In my mind, it's an Elseworld. Whatever happened. It's not going to happen in the DCU, so it's fine.
But on the Elseworld note, you know what would have made me sit up in my seat and give that holy shit moment I was looking for?
What's that?
Bruce Wayne gets shot and the parents are left alive.
Yes,
you see the alley with them kneeling over the child's body.
Okay, if they had made this the Flashpoint universe, I would be.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's Flashpoint. Yeah,
I could especially go with that because with the movement. You could go with Martha
would've been-
becoming the Joker in that universe, and yeah, okay.
Much like my,
that
much
would have
like
been
my,
Kevin standing up and giving a
Well,
slow
I didn't say
clap
that.
on
I just said I would have sat up straight.
much like my ending to Avengers Endgame. Charlie just retconned the ending in his head that they shot Bruce, and now it's the Flashpoint universe. So there you go. It all works. It all makes sense.
Just remind me, what's the movie you're going to
it would
stand up
make
and
a lot
clap
more
if somebody
sense.
gets hit with a pie?
Oh,
That wasn't
Suicide Squad?
Joker. Oh, Suicide Squad.
Yeah, of course. We have a bunch of people on Twitter and the Patreon that gave us some. I've motioned
trying.
to Toby like
He's
7
been
times,
motioning.
but he's ignoring us. So he's posting something on the hub, and I can't read it. So the seat's always open, Toby. We want your opinion. But he's coming. Okay, well let's. I'll wait. I'll wait for Patreon and Twitter people till we get Toby's full opinion. Now, Toby was at New York Comic Con. Didn't sleep 1 minute. Flew back. Watched the Joker in a comfortable movie theater, so I'm assuming he fell asleep 15 minutes into it. Woke up twice.
Sorry, Toby.
So he doesn't know what happened in the movie, but we're going to get his hot take right now.
Did you fall asleep or not?
I did not.
Hey!
I also did not watch the movie when I got back.
Where'd you see it?
I watched it over there.
Nice.
In a bad town of New York.
Oh.
No kidding.
Was Zorro playing on the screen next to you?
The Fledermaus was.
Not just Zorro, Ryan.
Master
Zorro
Zorro?
the Gay Blade.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, old school.
That's what was on the marquee.
It was not.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Zorro the Gay Blade and Blowout.
I missed that. I missed that. Oh.
That's how you know the year this is supposed to take place is 1981.
Oh my god.
So a quick rundown because I just walked in. I assume by people's faces here that Kevin did not like the movie.
Kevin and Charlie hated it.
Charlie did not like the movie.
Yeah.
You loved it because you won't shut up about it. Brock will love it because he's the same opinion as you generally. I'm not so sure about the Jim.
I didn't think Jim was going to like it.
50-50.
Oh, okay.
See, I knew some people that I'm like, I know that they get so, like, not anyone in this room, that they get so weird about, like, changes in movies and TV shows
just Periscope.
that I'm like, they're going to hate this movie.
got
I just
blinders.
know they're going to hate this movie. It's
Is
not
that why you thought I would hate it?
Yeah, I thought you wouldn't like it. Yeah. I didn't think you'd hate it.
I told you. I
thought
you.
you'd have some big problems.
Yeah, I just there's certain aspects of characters that I want to be there. That's all there is to it.
Do you know what he's going to say? Do you know Toby's opinion?
Well,
I'm going to take.
I don't know
Kevin
his.
cheated a little bit.
I don't
because
know
we
his
talked about
opinion. Yeah, we just talked about it.
Okay.
it. Yeah,
I just know his.
Yeah, what do you think?
I think you liked it.
Damn it, motherfucker!
I think you liked it.
I don't want to like it now. Can I hate it completely?
Absolutely,
I
yes.
have to fight Ryan here.
I dare you to. I dare
He's
you
my
to.
arch nemesis.
I dare you to
need
flip.
punch him in the face.
So is it the best comic book movie
oh, fuck
ever?
No, get out of here.
That's where he's at.
Go away.
No,
Brock.
that's where he's at.
Go away.
He said it.
But I pointed at you. Go away.
He's
It
at.
doesn't matter.
It's like he's best
Yeah,
comic.
that's now your
I really
opinion, Brock.
enjoyed it, and then Jim, like, oh shoot, Charlie's back.
Charlie is coming, dude. This is getting great.
I really wish you had shown up in like white face paint.
Oh, I'm all in, baby. All right. You guys know I was not necessarily looking forward to this movie. I may only rewatch it once or twice. But with that said, I don't think it was a bad movie at all. I thought it was very excellent, actually. I thought it was super well done.
Was it a superhero movie or a comic book movie?
It's definitely a comic book movie. It's based on a comic book character. And there's no superheroes in the movie at all, so no, it's not a superhero movie.
Okay,
I don't even know why this is a discussion.
We are in agreement.
Yeah, why is it? It shouldn't even be a discussion.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be. I mean, there's no fucking S in the fucking movie, and there's no dude.
There's no hope in this movie.
There's no one flying around.
Much like Smallville, no capes, no tights.
However, so some of the things that got added in, I thought I loved. The laugh that it's a nervous tick of his in some ways. I thought that was brilliant, actually. I thought the music, the score is beautifully done, the cinematography is beautiful, the storytelling, everything just top notch. In some places, I actually found it slightly predictable, maybe because I got a fucked up head, but I thought it was quite a bit predictable. However, and maybe this is just to shut up the people that are like me, the last 5 minutes was my favorite part of the movie. Because for me, the entire movie, and I don't know if this has been brought up today yet, I think the entire movie plays out in about a minute or 2 seconds in Joker's head. Like, to me, he is playing with the psychiatrist and he's laughing to himself because the entire movie is a version of his own mind.
That's what I said.
That goes on.
That's what I said before you came in. I said,
Yeah.
this is all in his, this is his interpretation in his head.
So, I mean, I walked in just 5 minutes ago, so I heard what you said about Thomas Wayne, or you brought it up, Ryan. And I think that's just his version of Thomas Wayne.
Yeah.
It's his point of view of Thomas Wayne, right? What's actually true, we don't know. In fact, I harken back to the Dark Knight, Nolan's Dark Knight, you know, all his different versions, that this is just one of them that happens in a few minutes while the Joker dozes off in front of a psychiatrist. I mean, that's the joke, I feel like.
Yeah, Brock brought this up to me the other day.
I totally think that, I mean,
No,
that's
that
why
is
Bruce
what
is
it
young.
is. The whole thing is a story.
Either way, it's not a canon story.
It's not a canon story, yeah.
Because Bruce is young and you know, things don't line up.
Yeah.
But I think, look, I totally think Joaquin and Todd Phillips were sitting around somewhere, getting butt drunk, and then going,
What is butt drunk?
let me tell you a version of this, the story of a Joker I like to tell. And Joaquin goes, that's fucking phenomenal. And then, in fact, let's throw a twist at the end so it makes people think about it. I think that's totally what happened.
Well, this is the thing, too.
I also think it's a low-budget movie. They didn't have a lot of locations in it.
The other thing, too, is in the comic books, even, it's not
There's
necessarily
a creepy fucking guy outside, by the way. You know that, right?
Scott.
He's just staring in, like standing
geez.
very, very still.
We see, like, reading... Okay, so I know, yeah, you're a Harley Quinn fan, Brock, whatever, but reading a lot of Harley Quinn, you see when she's going and being his psychiatrist, that every time in the file, it's this story, and this story, and this story. They're never... He lies all the time about what his origin, or he's lying to the therapist or whatever. And at the end of the movie, that's what he's doing.
Yeah, so
this
to
whole
me,
thing...
To me, an excellent movie, right? Yeah. And it deals with real issues that I think are real. Like, I do think we treat people with social issues the wrong way sometimes, and I think that's what this movie is about. But the last 5 minutes, I think, is the only part that's actually canon to me. Or those 2 minutes when he's at the very end. That's the only thing that's actually canon in the entire movie.
I don't mind if you want to have that be your headcanon, but I don't want that to be the point of the movie. Because to me...
No, the point of the movie is something a lot darker.
It makes sense in Dark Knight, where he's telling the story to multiple people.
Yeah, but here's the beauty, though. Here's the beauty of this. This is the way I took it.
Yeah, and
I have no fucking problem. Whatever the fuck you want to.
And
take
that's what I said. I have no problem if you want that to be your headcanon for the movie, or Brock and Jim. But I don't want that to be the actual director comes out and says, "Oh yeah, the whole movie's fake."
I don't think I ever will. I think that's the whole point. That's the way I took it, and that's the way I'm at peace with this movie.
And
right?
that's what that character.
Like, this is the way I can be like, okay, this totally works for me, right?
Yeah.
But I think that's done in a very like systematic manner that people that don't want to see it that way don't have to.
Yeah, because to me, we can pretty much pick out, like, kind of like what Kevin said, we can pick out the parts that are, did you say this? I think you said this. We can pick out the parts that are not real. Some of them are pretty obvious, but then,
because Zazie Beetz, I was like, this just don't feel right.
Yeah. The second he like
okay with all of this,
grabs her and kisses her, you're like,
yeah.
This is in his head. Huh? And obviously, having now watched King Comedy, clearly it makes a lot more sense watching that. Some of his character beats as the story goes on. So yeah,
I also love the shock factors, like him possibly being a Wayne. Like, my sister was next to me and she was like, "The fuck? Is this for real?" I'm like, "Calm down, just keep watching. I'm pretty sure there's more to it than
like
that."
For you, with the end, him telling the story, that for me adds to him knowing who Batman is, but not saying who Batman is. He knows who Bruce Wayne is by telling that part.
Yeah, perhaps.
So,
you mean in the movie or in the comics?
In the movie, at the end, when he's telling, like, the character at the end, it's talking to the psychiatrist.
Because it deals with the Wayne. So
it has
maybe.
Like, he could possibly know that's
I actually don't
Bruce's
think about it that much. No,
there's not too many scenes without him. Is that the only scene that he's not in? Is when they're killed? Is there any other major sequences that he's not present in?
I mean, there's stuff that's on the TV, but we fade out.
But he's there for that.
But he's not.
Well, yeah, he's not
I just can't. Was there something with those other clowns in that locker room without him? I can't even remember now.
Oh well, he walks in,
Yeah, that's right.
but
No, I think the Waynes leaving the theater, and that I think might be the only.
yeah, that he's not present for. Well, and the start of in the riots, like when he's in the cop car, like driving up, but the riots were going on. Like that's really the only sequence, and that's all connected. That's the same.
Now,
sequence.
did all of us? Did you guys? I don't know about you, Toby, but did you enjoy when we got the blood smile makeup?
That was all right.
I like that transition.
That was interesting. It was more of a tip of the hat to Heath Ledger's Joker.
Well, there's a scene. Leanne called it immediately when he's in the cop car and he has his head like on the window, and
Yep,
that's
yeah.
directly out of Dark Knight.
Well, and that's the thing is like when I said they shot certain areas from.
To me, my favorite shot is when he walks down the corridor all confident, like, and
When he's jumping into it.
he grabs a little cigarette and starts smoking, and he's like just walking. I mean, I sent the trailer. I thought that was a phenomenal shot. That's like, to me, like, that's when he figured shit out.
There's at least two shots that are directly from King Comedy. There's the one where it has like all the TVs when it kind of pulls out and there's all the TVs on. And the very last sequence is a direct scene from King Comedy. In that,
Without the bloody foot.
De Niro's walking down the hallway, and he goes left. And then, like, security chases him the other way, and then chases him back. And so in this, right, he walks down the hallway at the very last scene of the movie, and then he runs that way, and security starts chasing him back, right, the very last shot of the movie. So those are, like, direct. It's, like, exact the same scene, just different circumstances.
Look, I actually will say, I think Joaquin did a phenomenal job in this.
Oscar?
Probably. It depends on what other movies are out there, but I think he did a phenomenal job. But with that said, I still hate you, Ryan Higgins. And I'll go against you and fight you.
Now,
to
wait a
the bitter
second.
teeth.
Scott's in the house.
Scott.
Yeah, we're going to keep having mystery guests that'll show up.
Just randomly make it longer and longer and
This has
longer.
got to be Ryan's nightmare, right? He starts
He's like,
a podcast.
damn it, there's another guy at the
no,
door.
check it out. He starts a podcast as a full house. He goes, all right, only about 2.5 hours, right?
I
and then
told-
about
Bryce is
halfway through the
coming in like 4
podcast,
minutes.
I show up. He goes, God damn it, why did Toby show up? And about like at the third hour, you show up. And he goes, God damn it, why did Scott
show up?
We actually have a
I just
surprise
want to
for
know,
you.
Toby. Who else is coming?
Oh, at the hour 5, we got Bryce coming.
Bryce? Oh God, that's Ryan's
at the 5th
nightmare.
hour. Yeah, that's
Unannounced-
that's going to be his nightmare.
And
from
he's
now
doing
on.
and he's doing the Patreon, by the way.
What's up, man?
Why do you hate Ryan?
He's a guy I love to hate.
You love to hate. Is
Yeah.
it like the Joker movie?
Well, I love to hate him because he switched over to the hub, and ever since he switched over to the hub, he became an insane, not knowing person.
That's the secret
it.
origin of that feud. It's all
Yeah.
It's all about the hub.
I was perfectly fine with Ryan before that.
I'm pretty sure Toby hated me before that.
hated you beforehand.
I have occasionally problems when you're a dickhead, but
Wow.
those times pass.
Wait, I
But
feel
since
like I
the
just
hub came
stirred the
along,
hornet's
that I just
nest.
constantly hate you.
It's always
right.
always at this level.
I almost didn't want to know the origin. It's like the Joker. I just wanted that
hub.
feud to just list.
The hub was the tipping point.
No,
That's what it
no,
was.
Yeah, that's when I.
It was all the other
you know
stuff
what-
you
that's
could
what
deal
it was.
with.
Just smile on
I
my
remember what it
face.
was. It was a Gambit statue. That's the origin.
No, that wasn't the tipping
I had
point.
fun with that one. I had fun with that.
There was
one.
all these
That's still
things-
here somewhere, I'm sure.
Toby, there's
What about
all
the
these
Teenage
things
Mutant
that
Ninja
you
Turtle
could
statues?
handle.
No, it was the Scarlet Witch statue.
Fucking A.
Scott, what do you think of Joker?
So there's two parts to me. Number one, God, Joaquin Phoenix was so good playing this character. I was just talking to Charlie, and some of the things that he was saying, I'm like, gosh, that's really true, and that's kind of it's very similar to how I
Why are
felt
you
about
letting
it.
somebody else affect you? This is what you got pissed off at.
Wait,
I did.
Charlie persuaded
No.
you to think the other way?
No.
So me and Charlie gonna have a side podcast?
No, it was
I'll fight to Charlie.
It was
I'll lose because he's a lot taller and bigger than me.
meaning that I really liked the movie. I liked the way it was filmed. I liked the score.
Score is phenomenal.
His portrayal as Joker is chilling.
Yep, I agree.
The
I
Joker
love
is
the
supposed
scene
to
when
be
he's like killing his buddy and the
yeah,
what's the proper
and then he
term?
taps
What's
the
little
dude on
person?
the head. That's what he asked him.
is-
What's can I call you a little person? What did he say?
Yeah, you're the only guy that's been nice to me or something.
Yeah.
yeah.
He's
Wait,
like,
what's
oh,
the
you can
proper
go.
term now? I can't. Is it
But
little
we're
person?
never going to look at a slide lock on the door ever again.
No, the
The
slide
same
lock
way.
on the door. You're like, eh.
That was pretty.
That's just
That was a heartbreaking and funny moment at the same time. I was like, no.
It's really good. The Joker's smarter than that. Like in life, in all the comic books. Do you know what I mean by that?
So when you go home, rewind to my spot, and then we can talk about it.
Oh,
because
really?
I don't want to repeat it right after I just said it.
Okay. I mean, so for me, it was from beginning to end. I loved it. Brock and I talked off. So I know Brock thinks that the last 5 minutes is just what everything is in the real world of the movie.
Toby said the same thing.
Toby said the same thing. And I'm like, oh, I could see that. No.
So I think...
And that's what I said.
Well, that's why I hate Ryan. But
No, you hate him because of the hub.
The reason why I actually think he just dozed off, and that entire story played on in his head while he dozed off, and that's the joke in the whole movie. And I said that to Ryan.
You ready?
I'm
Ready?
like, yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
No.
Well, fuck you too. I started hating Scott Shea as of today. Mark the time. No,
You know
kidding.
that's a lie.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
such
I
a
love
lie.
you.
He can't
Let's
hate me.
weeks later.
But and that's I mean
Yeah, he did
I
just
can
say
see
that.
you. I can see you just saying, "Oh yeah, that's." But no, that's not. That's just not how. That's not my movie going experience. It's not my cinema.
No, I
experience.
think. I mean, that's the beauty in this movie. You can take whatever you want from it.
And the best thing about it is that when you talk about it, that's a conflicting opinion that doesn't make the movie bad or worse in any way, which is really good. That's
Yeah,
one of
which
the
is
things
weird.
that I
Like,
like about
normally-
it.
I will recap Kevin's opinion here real quick for him.
We're
so.
just gonna recap each other.
He's sitting
right here. For you two,
For those of you who haven't listened to the podcast for the last hour,
we're gonna go
For new listeners.
for the new listeners.
Yes.
We're gonna go into Asylum, Arkham Asylum now. After
After you're
listening to
done,
this
I'll tell everybody
podcast.
what Toby thought.
Okay,
So
no.
just go.
But I want to get your two takes, your takes on this, because Kevin said a lot of the same things you were saying, but he said he felt the movie was just sort of like the plot was. It didn't go far enough. That's just it. Like the portrayal was good,
predictable.
the movie was good, but it was predictable. It was kind of just nothing at the end
I
of the
do
day.
think it was predictable.
Do you guys
also.
agree with that, or
sometimes nothing is
because I do not?
okay.
I do not agree with that. I'll just say that.
Sometimes, number one, sometimes I feel like slow is good.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think nothing
I'm not criticizing
is
the
good.
pacing.
Wait, what
Scott,
are you
I'm not
exactly talking
criticizing
about
the
right
pacing.
now?
What movie?
No,
Huh?
what are you talking about? Slow is good. Is sometimes faster better,
Oh yeah.
or you
Jesus
go
Christ.
halfway.
You know, sometimes we're teenage boys, but next. Yeah.
I'm surprised just the tip hasn't come up.
Whoa.
You crossed the line
See,
again, man. There's that fucking
See, there's
line,
a line, dude.
You put it
Dancing
down
around it
across
is
it.
funny, but when he crosses, it's no longer funny, dude.
cross
All right. So was there nothing to it?
Rich people don't care about you, and the world is hard, and bad things happen to people.
Welcome to reality.
Welcome to reality. It's like Wanted when he looks at the camera. Just kidding. Ryan just gave me a
never watched
dirty
that
look
movie.
there. He's like, I hate
It's
you.
a Mark Muller adaptation.
Right,
Come on.
exactly.
Yeah, dude. How about that Kingsman prequel trailer, man?
So,
Mark Miller have anything to do with that?
Huh?
but yeah,
Miller
so,
have anything
yeah,
to do
so
with that?
there's
Something
a
in the beginning.
so we can talk. I mean, I'm sure you guys have talked ad nauseum about how it relates to society today and what things are going on politically. And
Nah, we didn't touch
I,
too much on that. but-
I actually think reminding people that rich people are shit is still pretty topical today. Like maybe we need to keep reminding people about this, okay? Clearly, people did not get the message
But
yet.
Ryan, my point in this is that subway shooting, if you remember the Bernard Goetz subway shooting that actually happened in New York in the 80s on the subway
I
car.
do not.
Okay. The subway vigilante was what he was called in the newspaper. He shot and wounded 4, I believe they were African American kids who were terrorizing people, and I'm using that term.
Sure.
I wasn't there, but I'm saying that's his story, and he pulled out a handgun and just basically said, I've had enough of this.
Falling down.
The movie?
Yeah. It's like falling down. I've had enough. Bam, bam,
Well,
bam,
this
bam,
is also 20 years before Falling Down, but
I know.
sure. And so that the whole thing was crime is out of control in this city. The law's not doing anything about it.
Yeah.
I'm going to take it into my own hands.
so
In this case, he shoots and kills these 3 guys and runs away. And the whole story is a killer in a clown mask was seen running from this subway where 3 bankers or investment guys were found dead. And from that seed, suddenly is this whole Occupy Wall Street, down with the rich, burn down the city movement. And I'm just going, there's a huge ellipsis in between those two.
Like,
things.
where's the story? Where's
How
the
do you
lead
get?
to there?
You don't know why they were killed. You just see three
the thing
guys
is,
dead.
but you have
suddenly
you have
thousands of people wear clown masks.
But the thing is you have the trash riots that are going on. You have the thing with his they cut off the social services. At that point.
I do understand a little bit more where you're coming from now, and I disagree because he says at the end, he's like, I'm not political. I don't give a shit about any of this stuff.
Yes.
We are seeing the entire movie from him. The stuff going on in the outside world is like secondary. He doesn't know about it. He doesn't care about it.
Which makes
and to
that
me, I like that. It's just this thing happening. The city's burning around him. He's
But
like, did I do this? I don't know.
In the same thing, I could say, if this was the Joker, he would have planned all of that.
But
yes or no?
This is just not.
Do you know what I
that's
mean?
not what
This is a different
different
thing.
Yeah.
This is a very Elseworlds thing.
Yeah.
If it's the
that must be something to do with that seat.
why did they say Elseworlds over here? But do you know what I mean? It's not.
Yeah, I do.
But I can see. I can also see where, given one thing, especially in today's society, gets blown up into something that's completely different all of the time.
Every day.
Take Colin Kaepernick for example. Mm-hmm. What was his protest for?
Black Lives Matter.
What was it made into be? You're against the United States.
Yeah.
So that there's a pretty big chasm there.
Yeah.
And that happened almost overnight, very similar to this at a higher scale because of death and murders on the subway. But I can see how that would happen because that happens so often.
Sure.
In everything that is social media today.
You have to look at Thomas Wayne had his.
Thomas
cents.
Wayne was such a dick in this.
Right, he has his 2 cents. On that,
yes or no?
Or maybe he wasn't a dick because maybe you're seeing it only from the Joker's
point of view.
Yeah,
his whole thing
is
the poor people clowns or
calling
whatever,
the poor people clowns, and that's the thing is that's what's adding to that.
I love that he
fire.
shot De Niro.
I do want to go back and rewatch that scene because and maybe someone can correct me or if they remember better than me. I remember it like kind of like when he says that. Is it like on TV? It gets like blurry or like it closes up on him really weird.
He's on some talk show
it's
thing.
It's
and
an
he's
odd shot. And now if you got to give Brock and Toby your little theory here,
in the same sentence, please.
Your theory, it almost did feel like he imagined him saying that. Like it didn't feel like those words actually came out of his mouth because it was. I remember that scene when he says it. It's
because
kind
this
of
is
shot
the thing
weird.
this is the thing is throughout the entire movie.
But people keep saying, "Oh, Thomas Wayne thinks we're clowns. We're not clowns." You know, so obviously people that did happen because other people are responding to it. But I could see.
But you have to look at it.
Maybe not having. I don't know.
There's so many little.
I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole.
Again, there's little things that you can pick up on and interpret your own way all throughout the entire movie.
The reason why is Joker is such an unreliable narrator.
Yeah.
That's the thing is we don't know what is what from scene to scene.
Right. So you choose what you want.
Toby
chooses what he wants.
Yeah.
I choose what I want. Ryan chooses what he wants, and you make the story yourself, which is why I think it's pretty powerful as a movie in general because it's your choice. And
you're choosing not to like it, Kevin.
Maybe you're right,
choosing not to
and
like
maybe
it.
you're wrong.
Sorry,
I mean, there's so many ways. It's not a movie that I really would want to go back and watch. It did not make me feel
I would say it's an excellent
like,
movie, but I don't necessarily liked it. If that makes sense.
I really liked it, but I'm like, I'm not going to. I'm not getting the DVD. I'm like,
you're getting the Blu-ray.
Oh, no. You missed my opening. You know, Charlie was first. I was number 2. I mean, this is number 1 on my list. Comic book movies, no question, no, not even close. This blows everything else out of the water.
And Charlie's like, this is as bad as Batman and Harley Quinn, the animated movie.
No, it's sideways. It's not. It's,
the
Charlie's coming back. The giant is coming back. Can you hear the steps?
He's not so gentle today.
Nothing is as bad as Harley Quinn.
Batman Harley Quinn was much worse and committed a much greater crime.
So you like Joker better than that movie?
Okay, you know what?
Yes.
Oh yes, I got totally to like Joker.
I'll take my liking thing back.
But when you're starting at the bottom, being an inch above the bottom still means you're full of crap.
I'm trying to bring sanity back to this podcast where you like things.
No, it was
Charlie.
better than. I mean, it was.
Let me rephrase it. I maybe didn't enjoy it as much as I should have. Maybe liking, I do
Right.
like it, but the enjoyment factor is
I
maybe different.
liked it. I thought it was very good, but I'm not willing to say it was better than like Endgame.
Well, that's a different kind of movie.
Do you know what I mean?
Completely.
It's
that's
a totally different
that's
kind of
Sky.
movie.
Compare them.
Top 3, you got a couple months. You don't have that much time. You get us. Our end of year podcast
right. End of
is
the year
coming
podcast.
soon.
Oh, good lord!
I said, beginning of this year, there are going to be 2 comic book movies that I think have a chance at the number 1 shot.
Endgame.
Well, you tend to make up your
And-
mind before the movie comes out, and you're sticking with your
This is
story.
true.
Yeah,
This is
You're
true.
sticking with the hunch.
He doesn't
Joker was my
change.
dark horse, and
When was the last time
that
you-
panned out?
When was the last time you changed your opinion of what the movie was going to be?
Yeah, when
going
yeah.
into it.
It was a Marvel movie, obviously.
Oh, I mean, it could be Guardians 2 easily would have been the last movie.
Oh,
that
that's
was,
true.
Guardians
Thor?
2 and Last Jedi were easily the
What
2
about
movies
Thor?
I was super
That's
excited
true.
for. They
No,
were
that's true.
total
Damn it, that was
trash.
too easy for him.
Guardian.
about
Last
Thor?
Jedi wasn't
Ragnarok.
total trash.
Oh yeah, and Thor 2.
It was.
I may have.
I think you hated
Oh,
Thor
Kevin's
based
back.
on a trailer
Did I
already.
hate
though.
Ragnarok already? I might
I
have
think
hated
you
it before.
You hated
I
it
went.
I think
before
you
it
did.
went.
You made up your mind.
You hated
way
it based on
before
the
that
preview.
shit.
I was
You
just coming to give a reminder for the Patreon folks.
Yeah.
Before we get to hit
Hey,
midnight.
I got it right here.
Before we seal this, I think
PGD
Todd had
shuts
an
us down.
excellent idea, and I think the story he wanted to tell is the movie he made,
Yeah.
and the stuff at the end, I think is just a little
fucking
ads
Toby's Hub.
too, except for people like me to accept it, basically.
Yeah.
One last thing before
Yeah.
we read the questions. This is a huge financial hit, obviously.
Oh,
Yeah, they also didn't spend a lot
Okay.
to making it.
Yeah.
Big.
I think that's how. I have a feeling they got drunk. First of all, they go, "Ha! We're going to tell this
Butt
fucking
drunk.
story."
Everyone is
Yeah.
butt drunk.
And then they went to Warner Brothers going, "Let us pitch you a movie, and we only want this much money to make it."
I do
And they
wanna
go
say-
like, "Okay."
Joker. Before we get into the question, Kevin, your thing. Joker. We don't know the budget, but it was low.
65 million.
Is it 65? Is that,
I believe
is
I
that
looked it
the
up the other day.
55 to 65 million is what it was.
Is it? Okay.
90.
I did that by memory, all right? I didn't even fucking look at the little device.
93.5 million opening here, 150 and change international. So as of today, we're at 258 worldwide. Which Kevin, I remember you were talking like,
Yep.
they hit 500,000 or they hit 500 million, and they're fucking.
Oh, yeah.
people are getting raises left and right.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So this is a humongous hit for the amount spent. I
Here
mean,
is the lesson I hope is learned at Warner Brothers from this.
yeah.
Well, I'm worried.
This is your model for the DC universe going forward. I don't mean make Penguin next and then Scarecrow. I mean
Oh, it's going to be
give
Joker
different
2 of another
No,
origin
treat
version
the-
of the Joker. We're just going to keep getting that.
treat the movies like showcase. Give different directors one-off standalone stories. Don't try to build a universe.
Yep.
Just like let everybody make their own standalone vision that doesn't have to link to anything else.
The hell did I hear? Someone on Twitter today was like, "We need a Lois Lane Hudsucker Proxy movie," and I was like, "Yeah,
Sure.
sure,
Do it.
I can see that."
Let somebody make Black Hawk. Let somebody make Metal Man. Let somebody make
Is it
Spectre.
Spielberg doing
Spielberg was
Black
going to be
Hawk?
producing Black Hawk
Yeah.
at one point.
So I partially agree. I do kind of want to see a universe also.
well, I think you're going to get that with Wonder Woman and Aquaman.
I think there's space for both.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in the same way, I wouldn't mind seeing some Marvel stuff that's standalone also at this point either.
Yeah. Well, I think the TV shows are going to be pretty standalone.
Okay,
at the end of the day,
questions
They
are
have characters that are in the.
What do you mean? They already said it. It's like the WandaVision is actually a precursor to the Doctor Strange movie. You know that, right?
What was?
Is it?
Yes.
Which movie?
WandaVision
It leads-
feels like it's going to be so much its own little thing.
No, it's
Wonder
leading-
Vision?
WandaVision. The-
Wonder
She's going to be in the
Wanda?
Doctor Strange
Wonder
movie.
Vision?
Wanda.
Wonder Man and Vision. Wonder Vision.
One division?
They already announced it, though.
One
That's-
Republic.
Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah. Mr. Comic Book Twitter man.
Craig Anderson.
Wait, hold on.
Indicator.
Before we go into the questions, did we talk about that Captain America shield yet?
It is mighty.
It's pretty freaking sweet.
Jim and Charlie already.
There's
crapped on
life
it.
Why
size.
does Charlie
there's
need to
brand
grab one?
new.
He has a metal one. He could slice people's
That
heads
one's
off.
not metal?
No, it's plastic.
It
Yeah.
looks really good.
Charlie has a metal one.
Yeah, it does. Those are for. The
Why does
sword.
he need another one? Why are you
aren't-
being greedy, Charlie?
Those aren't for Charlie.
They're not for
the
Charlie?
star.
You
There's
just
one
said
for
Charlie
Jim?
is Grammy one.
No, Charlie and Jim were already shitting on it earlier.
Yeah, because it's
Sitting
not
on
metal.
it. They don't
Yeah.
like it?
It's plastic. It's not
Well,
metal.
you know,
How
not
much is that
everybody
thing?
can jump on the first version of the fucking shield, right? Some people like me missed out on it, didn't fucking hub it because we don't like to use the hub.
Shield is a freaking sled.
I'll take a sled. That's cool with me. I can use it.
Craig Anderson.
Can you actually use it as a sled?
Craig P. Anderson.
You better just.
Is this
start reading.
Patreon or Twitter?
Indicator.
Here's my hot take on Joker.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
It's not a Joker movie.
It's not, actually.
You could swap in a dude named Bob and nothing changes at all.
Absolutely.
Great film, great performance, but I call BS on it being a comic book movie. Maybe I should take some solace in the idea that calling something a comic book movie increases sales, so yay. My headcanon is that this is a movie about a guy named Bob who has a mental break and was institutionalized. Before it happens, he was a big Batman fan, and the movie is an internal fantasy made large. The only reality was at the end when Bob was running around the mental
Indicator,
hospital.
I think you're a really smart man. I always thought that, but now even more so. At least smarter than Ryan.
Julian Titus
You're
pants.
just drinking haterade.
says, I
no
know
pants.
we just had the Joker movie.
I'm not
and,
drinking it. I actually like the movie,
Oh, wait,
man.
wait. Oh,
Actually,
sorry. There's a question about Joker. We'll get to this in a few minutes.
By Julian Titus with
thought it
no
was a good
pants.
We'll come back to Julian in a second because
With
we have
no
some
pants.
questions. We're going to
Okay.
do the
What?
reviews and then questions
Why are
in a
you
second.
going
we got
away from no
reviews.
pants?
Christopher says,
Why are you
Reviews
skipping
and
no
then
pants?
questions.
That makes sense.
when he kissed the little guy on the head, thanked him for being nice to him, to me that was an important moment. He showed he wasn't truly evil. An angry, delusional, narcissistic sociopath, yes, but still possessed a highly skewed moral compass. The trailer had one hell of a misdirection. At the end, when the transformation was complete, the playing of Gary Glitter's Rock and Roll Part 2 certainly changed the mood of that scene, and that's damn true. Knowing Glitter's history, though, it made sense in a twisted way. Gary Glitter's had some trouble with the law. Let's leave
Explain
at
it.
that. Child pornography. So,
Ew.
yeah. And here's the big one. Did anyone else notice that when he became the Joker, he was in control, or at least in his mind, and the neurological laughing
away?
was no longer there? The stressors were gone. To me, this was the biggest indicator that the transformation was 100% complete and the point of no return had been passed. We talked about that earlier, which I totally agree with. Leanne brought it up kind of right after the movie, and I was like, oh, yeah, he didn't.
Well,
He
it's like-
wasn't making that laugh.
The thing is, the medication was couldn't stifle it completely, and it came out in that chaotic way, right?
Well, he stopped taking the medication, and the
And-
laughing went away.
yeah, and that's when it started to.
Actually, he didn't stop taking it. The funding was cut.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then he
yeah,
stopped receiving it.
It's
Yeah,
true.
social services, fuck that shit.
Yeah.
No,
Um,
no, like we need that. Like,
Yeah. So, and I agree with that, right? I mean,
Fuck, I'm agreeing with
and this is what we said earlier that the disabled character that we've been following through this whole movie was only that way because of the medication. When he's off the medication, he is his true, crazy, insane sociopath self, right?
well, so I mean, you can kind of argue that as well. With
He's
the
not
handwriting.
he's not a mentally disabled person that is driven evil by society. He's a fucked up evil person that is displaying some level of mental handicap nature
illness.
because of the medication he's on.
But the thing is, you also look
Did
at
you
his,
guys- did
look
you
at his
guys-
handwriting when he's on the medication. It's like childish and jittery and very like sloppy and stuff like that.
Did you guys talk about the theater reaction when he shot De Niro?
We got a couple good
Yeah.
Dude, it went dead silent,
yeah.
and then
yeah.
you heard there was like hundreds of audible,
Yeah.
like the air was just sucked out of the
because everybody
theater.
thought he was gonna shoot
It
himself.
was so good.
Well, in
right?
the scene where he shoots the guys in the subway, it's kind of jarring because it's out of nowhere, right? Like you don't see the shots. It suddenly there's boom, boom, boom.
Well, it's like he's getting hit, and then he shoots the guy in the head, and you're like, "Holy shit!" And then he just fires off again, but then he hunts the third guy,
Are you wearing a police shirt?
There's a Gotham City,
and it says forensics on the back.
Fucking nerd.
It says forensics.
In the scene with De Niro at the end, it pulls back and it like pauses, And when it pauses, you're like, "Oh, he's shooting him!" Like you know exactly.
Everybody's
how this is
dead
gonna
now.
Go. Yeah,
he's gone. He's cracked.
Because he just pulls, and there's a heartbeat, and then he pulls the trigger, and you're like, it doesn't cut from that scene. That scene was, that scene was.
Once he started shooting, you're like, it's over. You're all dead. All of you are dead.
Yeah. A couple on Twitter. Dan says Joker's a fantastic film. The unreliable narrator aspect was brilliantly used. What if the events of the movie never happened? The beginning mentioned he was in the asylum at one point. What if he never left?
Yep.
So, that's
You're a
another
smart
call for that.
A smart guy too.
Travis, our good friend Travis on our current comic says it's a good movie, but even though I knew the violence was coming, some of those scenes were shocking when they happened. He laughed a little too much, especially in the first half. I don't know about the Bruce connection, especially if people coming in the shop think it's canon. Well, I don't think that's going to happen, but...
Well, I don't know. The normals might get confused.
Yeah. From Cisco, and we're going to go back to what you guys are talking about. A theory I've seen online is that after the shooting at the talk show, the drive through the burning city is entirely in Joker's mind. The theory backed up with the fact that the drive through the city has Cream's White Room playing over that scene. I know the song, but I don't know why. Maybe like he's in the asylum the whole time at the end.
It's a trip.
Well, the thing is the whole it's the whole thing is the story. That's what he nodded off, and that's what he dreamt, or that's what he told the psychiatrist at the end, because it's a distinctly different look when you're in the asylum, cinematically versus
it's very
when you're
bright
actually in the not like. Yes, it's brighter, but actual lens they use is different. It's the way it's not as it's crisper. It's not. It's more there versus before. It's very gritty and stuff like that.
Cisco says, shout out to Todd Phillips, who shut me and others the hell up when we said, what the fuck does the director of The Hangover know about psychological dramas? That definitely put him in my must-see what he does next radar, just like Christopher Nolan after Memento. He says, the film is fantastic. Phoenix turns in an Oscar-worthy performance, in my opinion. I'll be sad to see him leave the character and comic book movies behind, but what a great way to show your chops and drop the mic on your way out the door. Casey says, Joker was great. It may have issues here and there, but I love feel-bad movies.
He must have loved this movie.
We need more of those.
Ooh, Evan says, how could a chain-smoking Joker run so much without coughing up a lung?
Metahuman.
Tim says the movie overall was fairly underwhelming. However, Joaquin as a Joker was great. Marvel Studios couldn't make this kind of movie, but if they did have a similar profile to the Joker, what would it be about? An American Psycho Norman Osborn film could be great. I mean, sure, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of
just don't adapt.
Wait, what? Marvel doesn't have a comparison to Joker.
Just don't. Well, no, but he said this type of movie, like if he did an American Psycho version,
Norman's the
with
closest.
Norman Osborn.
Yeah, I guess,
just don't have
Norman's
Gwen
a little more
Stacy
in
in
control.
it.
Well,
Just don't have Gwen Stacy show up in it.
Yeah, don't
okay,
have Gwen
please.
Stacy and them have a love child in a scene where they're recording porno with a cam.
Ulysses says it's a masterpiece, 10 out of 10,
Did you
the
not see
best
her
movie
again?
of the year, right next to John Wick Chapter 3.
Oh God, I finally watched John Wick.
Yeah?
Oh, 3's so good.
This is
So good, right?
I'm literally
loved
going.
it.
I want Chapter 4.
Right now.
Everybody wants Chapter 4 right now.
Oh my God, it's so good. Have you seen those?
Toby, this is for you. I saw the first one. It's good.
You haven't watched the second one?
It's fine.
They get more.
You watched the second one?
I'll watch the first one.
Like, if you like guns and effective ways of killing people, they get just better and better.
This one's for Toby. Can you talk about the musical score?
And John Wick
Jesus,
3.
the composer was amazing for Joker. You like the score?
I agree.
Who's
Yeah.
the composer?
The cello? The cello
No, I agree.
throughout? Is
I mean,
it
what's
the
there to talk about? It's fucking phenomenal.
Was it the
Okay.
cello throughout?
Yeah.
Ryan, I think that's the same composer as Chernobyl.
Oh, really?
I believe so.
Oh,
would make
fantastic.
sense.
I mean, I haven't done any research, dude. I just came from the other coast of the fucking country.
Talk about a year for depressing stuff. My favorite movie's Joker. My favorite TV show, Chernobyl. Like, holy hell. What a year for uplifting movies.
Hey, Ryan, are you surprised? You're a goth after all. I mean, you like
Have you
that
seen
shit.
Chernobyl?
Sorry, he's an edgelord now. It's not a goth. And they're called edgelords these days.
I'm way too
It
old
was
to be
the
an
goths,
Is that
and
the
then it was the
people-
trench coat mafia,
Wait,
and then
wait.
it became an edgelord.
Is
He
that
is
the
now an
people that
edgelord.
dance under the bridge when that fucking
Exactly, that's Ryan's.
comes out? That's his favorite video.
Okay, we haven't even talked about Rotten Tomatoes' score.
No, but I refuse to talk.
It's horrid.
I just get rid of it. I'll never talk about
what
Rotten
is
Tomatoes
it?
again.
It's 69% on Rotten Tomatoes.
69%.
But hold on,
I'm sorry,
movie
Bryce.
critics?
I'm sorry, Bryce. We are drawing the line. I will never mention Rotten Tomatoes on this podcast ever again. I'm just done with it.
So
Okay,
when
everybody,
I
that is
disagree
up
with
to
Rotten
me.
Tomato, it comes up for the next half a year. But
Done.
when you talk about it, we get to draw the line.
Verum also says, I didn't dislike it, but I can't say that I liked it. Not because it was bad, but it was just kind of uncomfortable. I think that's what they were going for, though.
No, I think that's
Yeah.
the point of the movie.
They
though.
absolutely
Yes.
were.
Purposefully uncomfortable.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way I can pronounce her name. It's Hildor. Can you?
Okay, excellent radio. Move on, Ryan Higgins.
Wow.
Like, seriously.
Move on. Just move on.
This is the person who composed the score.
Just
Yeah,
move-
this is the composer.
Oh, okay.
Guendaughter.
Guendaughter.
Oh, there's like a little shark in the D too. Okay. All right.
All your umlauts.
Yeah.
Hilder.
So we do have a couple questions that we'll get through.
Can you say that?
It's somebody daughter.
Yeah, it looks like Gutenditcher. That's like Björk's last name. Björk Gutenditcher.
That's also your people's, Ryan Higgins.
We do have a couple questions, so we'll
Okay,
get to
bring
these
it
two.
on.
This is from Verum Libertas. Some of the stuff isn't about Joker, but these are our podcast guys, so we're going to get to these.
Oh,
Holy shit!
Ryan's nightmare.
Podcast will never end.
Yeah, I told you.
The never
Bryce
ending
at hour
podcast.
5.
No Bryce.
Bryce at hour
what's up,
5.
buddy?
He's driving in right now. He told me he's driving here when he
Lane.
started it. We just got to keep it running till he
Ryan,
shows up.
Bryce did say that he has a scorching hot take on this, so
Oh,
just
Jesus.
get ready.
Lane, would you like
Lane
to give
has
us...
not seen Joker yet.
Oh, you haven't seen Joker. Good. Get the fuck off the podcast. Verum,
You want to talk about New York Comic Con?
Verum says, at what point will all these comic book movies and TV shows
He went to New York Comic Con.
be too much? Not for one person to watch. Definitely already there, but so much that the studios stop making them. I mean, I try. I watch almost everything, so I try. Trust me. I'm getting there.
Look, I actually think the studio gets some credit for this too because they actually went ahead with it. I'm like,
Yeah. Well, Todd Phillips, I mean, he said this, right? That
it's this
said-
and
he
Doom
said-
Patrol are my two like holy shit. They
he said,
did this.
he says, I can't make movies that I want to make because the studios won't let me.
Yeah.
I can make this, if I call it the Joker, they'll let me do it because it's a comic book movie. I mean, he said this in interviews.
Yeah.
Well, fair
So,
enough. So he did do his own movie.
Yeah,
Just call it the Joker.
Yeah, and I mean, we have the superhero movies will not go away at this point. We're at the point where technology and the people making these movies actually, respect the source material. It's like saying
It's about time
well,
that they do.
no,
Though. When do we
man,
gotta
those-
respect video games movies?
Well, that's coming.
Yeah.
But it's like we're just no longer going to make movies based on books anymore. That'll never happen.
Or they have to be books that are very action heavy.
Oh, the swimmer just
So-
came back.
We're just going to stop making science fiction movies.
So
we're just
no,
not
I mean-
going to make them anymore. It's never going to happen.
No,
We're-
they're making just Star Wars. That's the science fiction we're going to get. It's just Star Wars.
Again, think of
I
you
think
have to
he's being
think of the
sarcastic.
eras of movies that we've come from.
right.
So when Bloodsport came out, there was a ton
Why are you looking
of
at me when you
because
said
Toby's
that?
Toby's
Why are you
like
looking
Toby's
at
like
me when you said that?
oh, I remember that time, and there was
I
a
do,
ton
man.
of
It was a
martial arts.
magical time.
There's of tons of martial
Oh,
arts
dude.
movies.
American Ninja, 1, 2, 3,
Oh, that was
4,
long.
5.
Wait. That was long before
But
Bloodsport.
it was that, and then you had
There's-
Rambo, and you had Rambo
Yeah.
and Commando
1,
and
2,
Predator,
3, 4.
and you had all
Yeah,
these.
we might not have 9 comic book movies a year in a decade, but they'll still keep making them because they're
I think they will continue
Because
to
they're
make
money
them
makers.
because the number
Dude,
one
80s and 90s were a magical time,
it's
man.
what's popular for the time, whether
Yeah,
it's whether it's
Hey, we're getting another Terminator.
action. What action adventure movies are
Dude,
there? And
Let's
the-
talk about that Terminator, man. You get the right people back in place. The trailer alone makes like the last I don't know how many movies look like child play, like amateur movies, man. 5 movies. They look like amateur movies, man. Like
this one looks good.
dude, it looks like forget
She's
about all
very
this shit.
attractive as far as being a human Terminator thing. Who's the female Terminator
I
thing?
don't know her name. Okay,
But anyway.
what was the original question on that?
Yeah, we're
Were we
way
like,
off base.
Wait,
You're way
yeah,
off.
do
yeah.
we Do we? I mean, are we done? Our
No.
our
Not even
studio's
clo-
gonna
not even close.
Stop making
Are you
these.
crazy?
Not
That's what it
even
is.
close.
Said.
No.
What?
Nope,
Okay,
never.
The studios,
No time soon.
The studios have not had this many movies
At this
make
point,
this
we're
much
having
money.
movies that are based on its own take of it. Like Thor, the sequel to Ragnarok,
Yeah.
is going to be its own thing that's based on a movie version of a comic book. So we're even going to new space now.
After this last year, after the pinnacles of Endgame and followed up by Far From Home, why would any studio stop?
Yeah.
I've seen people like, oh, well, after Endgame, all the Marvel movies are going to crap out. It's like, no, they're not.
No, we got Ant-Man 3, we got Black Panther 2,
Like,
we have
they're
like,
going to be big. Black
Doctor
Panther,
Strange 2,
they're all going to be
Guardians
big.
3.
You guys are all wrong. It's going to be the fucking Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings, baby.
I'm very excited for that. I can't wait for that.
Fucking Simu.
And they cast Hellstrom for the Hellstrom series for the.
So this is for everyone. This is for everyone over there.
Everybody,
What do you guys want?
attention.
We got like
What is
14
your-
people talking on the side here.
What is your favorite mainstream non-comic book TV show?
Oh,
Non-comic book TV
Chicago.
show.
It's got a comic book world, man. It's got like 4 shows that are all
Supernatural.
linked in.
Non-comic book?
Non-comic book.
I'm going to recommend this to Toby. I'm going to answer the
It
question.
better
and
not
re-
be Orphan Black because that's my
No,
favorite show.
I'm gonna repeat
It better
this
not
for
be
Toby.
Person of Interest. It's also my favorite show of all time.
Atlanta on FX.
Oh, I love Atlanta.
Okay. Because
got
last
lots
time
of
we
people.
talked about it, you hadn't watched it yet.
No, I watched like 3 episodes on the plane a long
Okay.
time ago.
Atlanta's my pick on this.
And Childish Gambino is an excellent guy.
The Good Place.
Wait. The question was non-comic book movie show?
TV show.
Oh, okay. Friday Night Lights, Person of Interest.
No, that's on now. Current.
Oh, it has to be current.
No.
One.
No, we're gonna make
This is
it-
like favorite mainstream.
Look,
Yeah,
I'm
we're
assuming
gonna make
current.
it.
I'm assuming
we're gonna make it
current.
current for Toby.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
yeah,
we
yeah.
could be
So,
here all
Friday Night
night.
Lights, Orphan Black, Person of Interest.
Those are all off the air.
Off the air.
Oh,
off
God
the air.
damn it! I keep forgetting that current part. Black Sails also not current. Game of Thrones no longer current. Hold on. Knight Rider definitely no longer current. A-Team no longer current. Current.
You're going
current,
backwards.
Current. New Amsterdam.
Manimal.
What is it?
New Amsterdam.
I don't know. New Amsterdam.
New Amsterdam is solid.
It's solid.
It's
I like
all right.
it.
I
It's
mean,
about
it's
a doctor who
fine.
has cancer, but then he decides to help everybody.
Oh.
I like
It's-
shows where they're like
It's
to
a
help
little.
people.
It's a little.
It's
Froofy.
mushy.
It's
a little
episodic.
mushy. It's a little mushy. I like it.
Jim.
It's also got my favorite doctor companion in it.
You want me to follow that?
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, all the Chicago stuff is current. They're on in like 15 seasons of each.
Super- no.
Med.
Supernatural's in its last season. This is my one. That's my pick.
Okay.
You're still on Supernatural?
Hell
Okay.
yeah, 15
What?
seasons.
Are you crazy?
15 seasons.
I'm sure he
There's
has
the
that
article that
tattoo
came
on
out.
his-
There's that article came out where everybody in comic book store are thankful that they're the normal person in the store. This is how I feel when. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, this is not a feel-good show, but Succession on HBO. Just, I hate all the people. They're just bad, and it's very well done.
You're just watching it
And
to
it's-
watch them die.
No, it's like
Oh!
a train wreck.
Dark.
It's like-
Dark is current. Dark, the German show, the fucking time travel shit.
Oh, I tried
That's
to watch that.
Yeah, it's fucked up. You
but
should
I
keep
could,
watching it.
No, because I can't handle dubbed stuff, and I don't understand
No,
German.
don't watch it dubbed. Watch it in German. That's racist. Sorry, everybody. I
just
apologize. That was not nice.
All right, Charlie, what's yours?
So I'm going to just go back to Mr. Robot.
Okay.
That was really
There you
good.
go.
That was really
Uh,
good. That's really good.
Ryan, and then I'm last.
Well, I said Chernobyl.
I'm actually going to dig out my
earlier,
notes of my
which is
favorite shows.
I
made a
current,
list.
but
Yes.
God, what is? I have something else that's like not comic book. Do I watch stuff that's not comic book?
No. Oh, Hilda. Hilda is current. Oh, that's comic book shit. Okay.
Toby has shirt.
Yeah,
Gold Rush.
I'll say that for right now. Really? I'll say that for right now. I mean, it's this season. It's this year. I mean, it was a miniseries,
mean,
but it is
for-
this year. So
Mine's Bosch on Amazon. That's mine to go to right now. That one
I
I
got
really
nothing
like.
except Supernatural. That's it.
And Axe Guys. What's that one?
I don't watch that one. No.
Axe Cop.
No.
That's also 5-year-old comic book.
Sorry. Fargo. Fargo's my favorite
That's still
current.
going?
Oh yeah, Fargo season 3 is about to start. 4, 3, 4. Yeah. Oh, Fargo's fucking 4. Yeah. Fargo's fucking incredible.
I'm
curious now.
gonna go with Ballers because it's got The Rock in it, and he rules in everything he's in.
Hold on.
It's so good. It is so good. Did you see last week?
No, not yet.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. I quite enjoy The Rock.
He and
I
Joe,
can't lie.
He and Joe meet for Patrick Mahomes' contract signing.
Hello, spoilers.
Oh God! No, I didn't. I mean, you knew it was coming. That's part of it.
I'm sorry. Do you watch that show?
I know what it is.
Well, do you watch it?
I know what it is.
Do you watch it?
I know what it is.
Do you watch it?
I know what it
Do you
is.
care about that?
So
spoiler?
Craig,
yeah, exactly.
We can go forever with this
So
shit.
Craig Anderson has another question.
Oh,
Anderson.
Indicator! You only get you're overreaching your quota, my friend.
He says, as the new CW seasons begin, which
Yes.
I did see Batwoman, we'll
I
talk
did,
about that
I
next
did
week.
watch it too.
We'll start the final season of Arrow.
Yes.
Should we stop and give some props to Stephen Amell?
Yes.
He's the RDJ of the Arrowverse.
Yes.
And without
Absolutely.
him, we'd have nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Not every season was great.
No, that's incorrect. Without Smallville, we'll have nothing because Smallville was the precursor to all of this.
Oh, okay.
But
Usually pronounced Smallville, but okay.
Smallville. What is it? Small dick.
Smallville.
Fine.
Not
I am
every
tired.
season was great, but he always was. On a personal level, he's an amazing guy.
No, and he
Apparently
likes
Craig's
his
not.
fans. He knows how to treat them too.
Yeah,
I
what
give
do-
all the props to Mel. He's a great,
Yeah.
awesome guy.
What are your overall thoughts on his contribution? And
Absolutely.
Dude, the fact, he was willing to be Arrow. He was willing to do like the voices for the video games, that DC Universe Online fucking thing that you were playing with your fingers.
Didn't he do the voices on the cartoons whenever they had a Green Arrow?
Look, he was just all in,
Yeah.
and I really appreciate that. And he was willing to do the panels. He's willing to be there for the fans, talk to the fans. He was all in, and hats off to you, good sir.
Well, and I think also his energy and his passion translated to bringing other quality people on and like
Or the
their-
willingness to do like cameos
Yeah.
or I think he was the guy that was fighting for all of this stuff to bring John Constantine into the Arrow universe to all the stuff. I think that a lot of this. Sure, it's not just him. There's other people behind him that were definitely that we should be thanking too. But I think he is the front facing figure for all of this.
Yeah.
Like he was the public figure for all of this. So hats off to you, good sir.
Yeah, it does feel like he really stepped up and pushed hard for the other characters to get more screen time and the spin-offs and supporting the rest of the cast. It feels like had Arrow maybe had it been kind of they maybe wouldn't have pushed so hard. But he seemed to. He seemed very vocal about
the thing is
the rest of his cast.
If you look at what came out of Arrow overall, show-wise,
Dude, Crisis is gonna be the
Like-
crazy TV event.
Crisis
Comic book
is
TV
gonna be
event of all
insane.
time.
Crisis is the end game of the DC universe.
but that's the thing.
I
is,
think
like,
even
we-
crazier than Endgame. If
How
you
many
think about
how
it.
many shows have spawned out of Arrow? Just directly spawned.
all
out
of
Arrow?
them.
Well, Black Lightning.
Black Lightning's the only one,
Like
that
the
didn't,
outlier,
but it wouldn't
but-
have happened without it.
Exactly.
So.
But their thing is they're bringing Black Lightning in now.
Yeah.
Right.
And that being said, how many previous iterations of DC characters have they brought the actors back into play, new
Yeah.
characters?
No,
I mean,
think
it's
great.
it's
They
a great
respect
homage
it.
to the
Homages
past. Yeah.
And dude, they did good stuff.
All right, two more quick ones. It's from Chris. He says, "I'm from Canada, so I have a couple of Canadian
I hate
questions."
you because you're in your stupid Toronto Raptors.
He says favorite, and he spells it with a U. Favorite Canadian superhero and favorite Canadian
Fuck all Canadian superheroes except for Wolverine.
comic book creative talent. For me, my favorite is Wolverine and
Pat
John
Lee is
Byrne.
one of them, right?
Well,
Pat Lee is Canadian. Isn't Pat Lee Canadian?
I don't know.
What's the
I think
guy-
he's Canadian.
Okay.
Him and the fucking DreamWorks people. Not
Chris, you're
Dreamwave
you're
people.
Chris, you're correct on the creator pick. That is the correct
Byrne.
answer. Yes.
I will go with
Anybody
Chip
that
Zdarsky.
says Wolverine is wrong.
He's not Canadian.
Jeff Lemire.
No.
Is he Canadian?
Yeah.
Is he?
Period. I don't
Is your
care
mic
what
off?
your opinion
Who is Guardian?
Not Canadian.
Can I-
like that one.
Can I pick Captain Canuck?
Do
Do you remember that character?
Yes.
Staple, like this.
Get him in my quarter bin all the time.
There is one answer and one answer only, and that is Weapon Alpha.
Okay. Not Puck?
I like Puck.
Not Sasquatch?
Sasquatch is mine.
All of Alpha Flight?
Sasquatch is mine.
Oh, wait.
Is
I hate all the Canadians. I forgot.
Is Wendigo Canadian or does he just
I mean,
wander that
Wendigo's
area?
Wait,
wherever.
no, seriously, Wolverine not Canadian? Did I-
Canadian. He's just
not a real Canadian?
he's Canadian, and he's a real Canadian, but he's not the best character from Canada.
Oh, okay. Well, I still hate all
Who is
Canadians
Shamrock?
because of the Raptors.
Oh wait, that's Irish.
North Star and Aurora are better.
No, I don't think so.
Who did you pick, Guardian?
She's mental.
Guardian, or I'm Vindicator, whatever. Okay.
Anyways, I take all my words back. I'm just joking with you. I love Canadians, and I still hate Toronto Raptors. Kidding.
And final from Julian Titus. He says, I know we just had the Joker movie, and Jared Leto played the character not long ago, but at some point we'll need an actual new Joker for an in-continuity DC movie. How do you guys feel about Mark Hamill playing Joker in a live-action role? Obviously, he understands the character, and with the way he's aged, I think he would look amazing with the right makeup. I've always seen the Joker as being older than Batman, and it's been a dream of mine to see Hamill play the character in
He's definitely
TV
older than Batman in
or
this
a
version.
movie.
Little kid, Flash, done. No more Batman.
I don't.
I'm a hard pass on Mark.
At this point, not
no.
live action, but Crisis crossover. Mark Hamill play the Joker. The animated Joker can show up. That'd be amazing. I'd be fine with
This
that.
is the thing is Mark Hamill has been Joker's voice for so long and just so he's done it so well. Like when I read a comic, that's the
That's
voice
the voice
I
you hear. Yeah.
Like that's just how it is. Like when I was reading the Harley Quinn Mad Love novel that they put out, that's the voice I heard. Like,
what if they do a digital de-age on him and he plays the Joker?
A shiny face Joker.
I'm just throwing it out there. I don't agree with this.
Look,
I'm just throwing it out there.
he did the trickster on Flash, and that was very Joker-like.
Yeah.
So, no, I love him.
I would be happy to see the Joker retired for like the next 5 years. No Joker comics, no Joker in the movies.
Have you seen all the Joker comics? There's 2 of them out today.
Yes, I have seen them, and thus my point.
didn't you see the Joker omnibus?
Absence makes the heart grow fonder. I have that Joker omnibus. Yes, I saw it.
Yeah, that just came out like a month ago.
Something is burning.
Well, that is it.
Good. That's a good final note.
we
On that note,
it's probably PG&E.
Yeah. The store's on fire. We'll see you all next time.
And boom,
Thank you, everyone, for listening.
What would happen if PG&E goes out right now? Would we have to re-record?
It saves
all of
up
it?
to like where it would go out.
Oh,
of
it
power.
does.
Yeah.
Darn
yeah,
it!
yeah.
So we can't repeat your nightmare.
No.
You know, when we redo this, we're all going to come with white face.
For a movie episode, we're actually shorter than the length of the movie. Look at that.
Did we do an email?
No.
Kevin, do you want to do an email?
Oh, we also haven't started on New York Comic Con yet.
So
That's next week.
I got some news for you.
You said we could talk about New York Comic Con.
I got some news for you.
For me personally?
Yeah.
What is your news, Toby?
I went to this DC Nations panel.
Okay.
Dan Didio put something on the wall.
Yep, we know.
What?
We know. We all know about it. I'm not talking about it.
Why not?
Because we're not talking about it.
Why not?
I'm done. I'm done bleeding cool for now, okay?
What?
Like it's over.
What are you talking about?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
No, you can't do that to me. That's fucked
Do you
up.
also know that in the same panel, he had a panel of Liebe Mejo.
Lieber?
Lieber.
Lieber Mejo.
Lieber.
Okay. Jim Lee, a lady that writes a Green Lantern book. I'm not. It's New Frontier.
Yeah.
Something.
Far Horizon. Jemison.
Far Sector.
Yeah.
What's her name? Nora something.
Yeah, Jemison.
Okay. She was there.
That looks fantastic.
Tom King was there, and I believe someone else. And then he handed a pad of notepad paper to Jim Lee and Tom King. And it was, if you had a good question, you get a Jim Lee sketch. If you get a horrible question, you get a Tom King sketch.
Nice.
And he was embarrassed the entire time, and also he swore a lot, and there was a fuck counter for Tom King. It was actually quite an excellent panel. Are we really doing New York Comic Con next week?
Yeah.
Not today? Because I have far more stories from it. From that panel
we'll have a very nice long podcast next week to talk all about New York.
Well, let's
Comic
hope
Con.
I can actually show up, because otherwise I have to write you a bunch of notes that you completely read the wrong way.
Why not? Well, tell a story or two.
I want to know what we weren't supposed to talk about.
Yeah, what aren't we supposed to talk
I'm
about?
actually kind of curious about this too. Can you please tell me?
I'm not talking. There's more nonsense rumors about a bunch of Ultimate DC, and we're just not going to get into it.
You cannot bring stuff up for all of your millions of fans that are listening to your podcast and not talk about it.
Screw the millions of fans. I want to know about it.
At the
The
panel
millions.
Toby was at,
And
is that the one? Is that the one where
millions.
they brought up the big chart of stuff?
Yes.
That's okay. Ignore that.
What?
Just trust me. Ignore that.
Okay.
And
Well, I guess we'll talk offside of this.
no, I don't know anything. But
Off record.
I don't really know
off-
anything.
Wow, you are just
You're a Debbie
a
Downer.
stick in the mud.
Yeah.
I don't-
Which too much
I am-
Joker as
I
he's
am-
He's too tired.
You want some
I'm-
medications? I can give you
I'm-
some.
He's too tired. Look at him. He's tired.
I'm
He's
done.
got bags
I
under
don't
his
always eat
eyes.
mine, so you
tired.
could have some of mine.
You
I'll
got
help
bags
you.
under your eyes. What's the email that we're going to
Yeah,
list
it's
talk
called
about?
cocaine.
We're not.
We're not doing an email?
No email. No.
From
We're done.
What?
We're done.
How come?
Email.
Email.
Email. Email. Email. Email.
He's like turning off the mic.
Done. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this wonderful podcast. We'll be back next week.
Louder, you know.
We'll be back next week to hear all about New York Comic Con from Toby. Meanwhile, I'm going to go home and make sure there's still power on in my house. We have to thank some Patreon backers here because it is the beginning of the month. So we have to thank our good friend Joe Duff, Sam Che, Andrew Nelson Mendez over at Recovery of an Anime Junkie podcast, Craig Anderson over at CraigPAnderson.com, Jimmy Rivera, a new high-tier backer, and Jimmy was here, obviously, a few weeks back. Do not forget to check out the Social Forum. That's the Social Thor, Four. With Jimmy, G Money, Miss Jenny Blue, and Shawnee B to discuss relationships, work, and the happy hour right on the Social Forum podcast. That's the Social Forum, FOURUM.buzzsprout.com. And James Laws. Thank you guys all very much for your continued support on Patreon. I don't know. And we also have our regular backers that we have to thank. Thank you all very much. If you want to get on this list, go to patreon.com/comic conspiracy, and you can give us a couple bucks a month support of this podcast, and we will gladly read your promotion for the month or some sweet list right here, including Dennis Jansen, Alex McHale, Dave Baroldi, Don Kilson, Mark Long, Stephen Sefia, Ivan Leskanik, Brian Morawski, Miles Gakula, and when I mispronounce your name, please email me and tell me how to pronounce it properly. Zach Johnson, Bryce Larson Quotes, Paula Schultz, Joseph Rodriguez, Jack Ildefonso, Christopher Noyes, David Safar, Brian Wyckoff, Joe Cachadorian over at Identity Stunt, PJ Ryder, Josh Elliott, Joe Frazier, Tyler Willits, Rob Ben Dixon, Travis Fleischman, Tim Martin, Ames Foster, Mason Barber, Anirban Banerjee, Robert Lane, Andrew Nikovich, Brendan McGowan, Tim from Virginia Beach. How's it going, Tim? Chris Lockhart, Aaron Wright, Father Dante, Christopher Haith, Chris Palaki, This Man, This Pete, Julian Titus, Chris Olivas, Wally Ansari, List of the Living Dead, Chris Bunch, Malvi, Edgar Moreno, and as always, Andrew Cuscieri. Thank you guys all very much for your continued support of this podcast. Please go to comicconspiracypodcast.com, geekbox.net, and Apple Podcasts for all our previous episodes. YouTube.com/comics with an S, conspiracy, is where you can find all our episodes on YouTube in audio format. If you would like an email, if you would like to send us an email,
We're never gonna read
if you would like us to receive an email from you, it's at thecomicconspiracy@geekbox.net. Of course, if you go to comicsconspiracy.biz, that is our comic book store's website. You can purchase physical comic books from us on there. Conspiratobrock.com, that's Brock's blog, video pull list, and unboxing videos. Charlie is Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension podcast. That is over at, that is Charlie's Doctor Who podcast, which you can find that on all your podcatchers of choice. And of course, LeanneHill.com. That is my wife Leanne's Etsy store. Oh, sorry, that's her blog, but she has an Etsy store linked on there where you can go pick up some of her artwork. We're all on Twitter. Ryan Higgins, Ryan, Brock Sager, Toby XI, Insanity and Chaos, CS Shea, That Kevin Sharp, LD Exterminators, Jim over there, Comics Con Store, that's the name of the store. And please listen to Geekbox. No new episode this week. I was pretty sick, but we're going to get one up next week. And boy, howdy, do we have a lot of talk. R.I.P. Blizzard. What are you guys doing these days? Holy shit. Geekbox, Comedy Button, Manga Machinations, and the Infinite Binge podcast. Thank you guys all very much. A movie episode under 2 hours. Oh boy, who would believe it? Not me. Thank you guys for listening. We'll be back next week.